Hey everyone, I'm Mark from Travelshorts. This is my daughter Holly. That's my son Matthew. And in today's video, we're going to go on a mini cruise to Amsterdam. We're starting off our video here at the Collingwood Memorial, which is just on the mouth of the Tyne behind us here, as you can see. In just a couple of hours, we're actually going to be sailing along here on a DFDS cruise called the King's Seaways. So I thought, what better place to start it than the monument to Collingwood? If you're not familiar who Collingwood is, he was Admiral Lord Nelson's even second in command during the Battle of Trafalgar in the Napoleonic Wars. So let's have a quick look around here before we head to the ferry terminal and board our ship. After reading that plaque just over by there, it actually states that these four cannons, which I thought for just for display behind me here, they're actually from Lord Collingwood's ship, the Sovereign. So that's really interesting as well. So these cannons have actually been into battle. Really fascinating. And a lot of people actually say that it was actually Collingwood who was the brains and the tactician behind the Battle of Trafalgar, not actually Admiral Lord Nelson himself. So it is quite fitting that this guy who was born in Newcastle upon Tyne has a monument here overlooking the Tyne right behind us here. So we're going to look around for just another few more minutes. It's just kind of, I guess, just on a bank, just by the river that side. There's a free council car park down there, which is where we parked. So it's free, totally free to come and visit. Just going to spend another couple of minutes here and then head towards the ferry terminal, which is just a short 10-minute drive away. So I think we're done walking around the Collingwood Memorial now. We're going to head back in the car, head towards the ferry terminal, which is only a few miles up there. And in a few hours' time, we're going to be sailing back along the Tyne here. So we'll get to view this statue then. But I think because we're now at the very end of October, it's actually going to be dark when we come past. So that's why I've come here now, just to get to see it in daylight. So we made it to the passenger terminal now. We're going to walk over and check in for our boat. I have seen online that a lot of people get in trouble for filming inside the passenger terminal. So if I don't film in there, I will see you guys on the ship later. So we've just checked in. That took about 10 to 15 minutes. It's quite a long line to actually check in for our ship. It says boarding is at 2:45 and it is now 2:30. So we're going to be boarding our ship in about 15 minutes, which surprised me. I thought we'd be boarding a little bit later. So once we pass through security, I will see you guys and speak to you guys later. Can you remember where our room number is, Holly?
2.
2, 2,
2.
5. 225. So this is our room, 225. So this is our room. It's a 4-berth cabin, so we've got 2 beds on the ground and 2 bunk beds as well, which we're bringing those out later for when we want to go to bed. Because I think both Matthew and Holly want to sleep on bunk beds, don't you? So I'll be relegated to one of the bottom beds here. But here's a really quick tour, and when I say a quick tour, I really do mean a quick tour. So here's the room. You've got a Holly there next to this little vanity mirror by here. It's got 2 plug sockets here, and they're both European plug sockets. We've got a stool we've got a bin by there. The room itself, like I said, there's 2 lower berths, 2 single beds here, and that comes with bedding and a towel each here. We've also got lights above each bed, and there's also a USB on the side of those as well. There's an additional power adapter here, European style again. I'm going to assume that's a speaker, maybe, when they come on the Tyne announcements on board ship. We've got a little cupboard thing there. Bunk beds, as I mentioned, are here, so mind your head, Matthew, while I pull this down. And that's almost already made up. There, another towel, pillow, duvet. Push that back up. That's really easy to move up and down as well. This is an ensuite cabin. So we do have a bathroom in here. So we've got a toilet, a sink, and we've also got a shower. Quite compact, but that's good enough just for the night. And that's it now. That's our room tour finished. What we're going to do now is we're going to head up, go onto deck, and have a look around and do a quick tour of the actual boat and see what's here. So there's a couple of restaurants. Well, one buffet restaurant, one sit-down restaurant, snack bar. There's even a cinema. So we're going to have a good look around. Oh, a nightclub as well. But we're going to go to the top deck now, have a look for when we're departing the passenger terminal. So I'll see you up there. So we've come out onto the deck. We're going to have a walk around the ship outside, see what's actually out here, although I suspect all that is out here is lifeboats. And then we'll wait till we depart the passenger terminal and sail down the port of Tyne towards the North Sea. So we've made it to the very stern of the ship. We found a nice little bench to sit down. There's another ferry by a different company right ahead of us over there, so I'm not sure who they are. But we're going to sit here now until we depart, and hopefully there should be some nice views of the Tyne as we sail towards the North Sea. So the reason we're actually coming on this mini cruise to Amsterdam, we actually got a really good promotion from a website called Holiday Pirates. I'll talk a little bit more about that later and how much we've actually paid for this 2-day mini cruise to Amsterdam. But just to give you a bit of a summary of what it actually entails. So we're departing Newcastle, well actually North Shields by Newcastle today at around 5 p.m. We've got an overnight trip to Amsterdam. We then have about 5 hours in Amsterdam tomorrow. Then we get back onto this boat again to sail back to Newcastle. So if you're just wanting to go to Amsterdam, it's not a good option because obviously you could fly through low-cost airlines such as Ryanair and EasyJet for next to nothing nowadays to go to Amsterdam return. And it only takes, what, an hour, less than an hour to get to Amsterdam from most of the UK airports. But we're actually doing this for the experience of the overnight ferry both ways. So like I said, we've got a really good promotion that we found on a website called Holiday Pirates. I'll tell you how much we're actually paying for the 3 of us to go to Amsterdam return in our own private ensuite room later in the video. You've got cars loading on below us here as well. So it's 4:30. They've started the engine up now. You can see all the smoke coming from the smokestacks above us on the very top deck. So fingers crossed we're going to be departing shortly. So we finally departed the passenger terminal. It's about 4:45 in the afternoon. Although boat time, we're on Central European time, so it's actually 5:45 now we're on the boat. So we've got to remember that everything is an hour ahead. First maneuver we're going to do is turn around because the North Sea is in that direction over there. So we have fully turned around now. We're heading towards the North Sea. Shortly, we'll be going past the Collingwood Memorial, which we were at where we started this video. Once we've done that, go through Tynemouth. We'll be in the sea. We'll then go inside the ship. We'll explore all the floors and see everything there is to see on board. So in summer, this top floor here is where the sky bar is. But obviously in this weather, sky bar's not going to be out because it's pretty cold, if I'm honest. So we've got plenty of lifeboats to the side of us here, and hopefully we won't need to use them. As I mentioned earlier, we paid a really good price for this. So I'll tell you how much it costs later in the video, but in the meantime, drop a comment down below of how much you think we actually paid for this. So as a reference, 2 nights on board. We've got breakfast tomorrow morning, all of us in a buffet restaurant, and we've also got transportation both to and from Amsterdam once we get to the port. So 2 nights accommodation on board the ferry, breakfast for all of us, and transportation in and out of Amsterdam. Let me know what you think, how much it costs down in the comments, and I'll let you know later on. And I bet you won't get it right because it is a really good price. You're going to wait for people on land, Holly? So we're just going past the Collingwood Monument. You can maybe see it behind me here. There. Am I blocking it? No, there it is. Which means we're about to leave Tyne and go into the North Sea. So once we've done that and headed into the sea itself rather than the Tyne River and the estuary, we're going to go back inside because it's getting pretty cold now and explore the ship. So there is the Collingwood Monument right by there. Just over there we've got a castle as well. I can't recall what that castle is called from the top of my head, but I'll put it down below here in the description. So we've just left Tyne, so I guess we're officially in the North Sea now. So time to go back inside the ship, get warm and see what's actually here, shall we? Well, that's so much warmer, isn't it, Holly? So I think we're gonna go down the floor. So every floor has also got a map, so we see we're on deck 10 here. There's actually not much on deck 10, so we're going to go down to deck 9. Looks like everybody's also going down. So we're currently on deck 9. I'm going to have a look around. Small little arcade here. Quite a bit out of order though. So this is the Columbus Club, nightclub. Keep going through. Well, looks like you can maybe get out there. Shall we see if we can get out the front? Looks like we can go out there. Thank you. So from the Columbus Club, you can come out to the deck at the stern of the ship, which we've just done, but I think we'll head back inside the Columbus Club and walk back down the rest of the floor. This is the Compass Bar. Looks like it's closed at the moment though. I don't know if it's going to open up later in the day. So there's 2 cinemas on board, and it looks like today they're going to be showing Despicable Me 4, Deadpool and Wolverine, and Beetlejuice. So we've seen 2 of those already. I don't think Holly could see Deadpool anyway. So I don't think we're going to be going to the cinema today. Right, so let's see what's on deck 8, shall we, Holly? So the North Sea is the bistro restaurant, so that's not the buffet restaurant. This is the one where you can get either a 2-course or a 3-course meal. So sounds like we got some live music in here.
Don't worry, don't hurry. Take it easy.
So that's the blue ribbon there. That's if you're on Commodore class, that's where you have your breakfast. It's a private room for Commodore class people. This is the coffee crew. So this is where you can get snacks and drinks. There's the menu there if you want to pause it, if you want to have a look what they've got. You've got a play area in there, but I wouldn't really film there because it's full of kids. But if you're coming with small kids, you'll be able to put them in there for a bit. And we've ended up at the stern of the boat yet again. It seems like no matter where we go, we always end up at the stern or the back of the boat. We're trying to get to the front, but it is quite confusing when you're walking around the actual ship itself, which direction you're going in. So let's try that again. So we've just walked through a bar. We've gone past the coffee shop. So we'll continue walking on this floor. We'll probably go down the floor again, maybe. So let's see what's back inside. So apparently there's a wildlife centre down here. I think that might be the orca centre. So we're going to have a look what's in there now. I imagine if it was daylight, there'd be some binoculars so you can look out into the ocean to see if there's any fish or even some whales, I believe you can see sometimes. Well, let's find this wildlife centre. So this is the observation centre. But I guess because it's night, you're not going to see anything. We've actually shut off all the windows in front of us there. So here's a map of our route and says what animals you can actually see and where. So looking at, so if we look at the yellow, for example, over here, we can see some hard porpoise. We've got some white big dolphin, minke whales, rarer sightings of pilot whales, reseals dolphin, humpback whale even. Wow. So potentially we could see a humpback whale by there at between 7 in the morning, 6 in the morning. So that was the observation area, the orca observation area. We've now gone down another floor. Let's go to main hall, shall we? I guess if it's daylight, there might be a really good view from the observation centre. Sea shop. Okay, so Matthew just said there's a sea shop on this floor. So let's have a look at that sea shop. I think we should have a look in the duty-free shop. Do you want some clogs, Holly? No? Clog slippers? You can also stock up on some snacks if you want as well here in the duty-free shop, but these prices are a lot more expensive than they are in the supermarkets back home. Right, shall we leave the duty-free shop, Ollie? Yeah. So it looks like that's the captain for today's voyage. Whoever he is. Captain Mads Lindgren Anderson. And if you have any problems or you need any questions answered, there's a guest service centre here on... What deck are we on here, Matthew? 5?
7.
7. So that's the Explorer's Kitchen. So that's the buffet restaurant where if you want dinner there tonight, the cost will be €33 for adults. And what was it? 20 something for children? For you? So we decided not to do this. It is a little bit cheaper if you book in advance. It's only £25 if you book in advance. We decided not to do that. We've actually brought a little picnic with us, which we're going to eat in the room shortly. So we're going to continue looking around the boat first. Then we're going to head back to the room and have our little buffet. So I actually think we've done everything. So we're currently on deck 7. So you can see the Explorer's Kitchen there. We've just been to the duty-free shop. The floor above, we went through that bar and the coffee shops there. Done all that. Then on deck 9, we did the arcade and walked through all along here. There was the beach bar on deck 12. It looks like everywhere we go, you can also find some sick bags. So we're going to take a couple back to our room because you never know. Hopefully we won't need them, but it's always better being safe than sorry, isn't it, Holly? I think we've actually seen everything there is to see now. So we're just going to see if there's a way we can get to the very bow of the boat just to see if there's a great view. I got a view of the front of the boat going out to sea. But don't think there is. We've just come to a dead end while we've been walking forward. We've decided to head back down to our room. To get there, we can either take a lift or for it'd be better to just walk down the stairs. So we're on floor 2, which is right underneath the waterline, which is a bit worrying, but hopefully it doesn't really matter where you are. And obviously we don't have a window. What floor are we on now? We're on deck 3 now. So down one more floor to deck 2. What I didn't notice earlier, we do have a number of sick bags in the room and some information things here as well, talking about the cinema, where it's located and the cost. So it's €8.50 and you get a cinema kit of €4, which includes popcorn and a drink. Looks like we've also got an onboard magazine as well called Sail and Save. Yes, full of everything that's in the duty-free shop. And then on the back of the door here, we've got your safety information, where we are on board, and how to escape and get to the lifeboats. Well, we're back in our room. And like I mentioned just a short while ago, I told you we've actually bought a little picnic to eat on board, so we didn't have to pay for the Explorer's Kitchen upstairs. So do you want to see what we've actually brought? I think we've gone a bit overboard, if I'm honest. So we've got stuff to last us going to Amsterdam, and we've also got some dried food as well, which will be fine to keep for the return voyage as well. So ready for this? This is what we have brought, this whole bag. Here is basically full of food and drinks. So we've got a selection of sandwiches. We got some chicken. We got some pies. We got some biscuits, some Jaffa cake, some fruit winders. We got chocolates. We've got a couple of bottles of water in there as well, because I wasn't sure about the water on board, if it was safe to drink or not. So I've got 4 litres of water, which we can then decant into our small bottles of water that we use when we're walking around. We've also got some Coke, but some cakes and some fruit as well. I've got some apples, some bananas, some crisps, some blueberries, because Holly loves blueberries. Yeah. So I think we're going to dig in now and start eating. You're going to go first, Holly. Ooh, some chicken legs. Yeah. Happy to have a sandwich. I think I'll have a sandwich as well first. What is a little bit annoying, I was hoping it'd actually be a table or quite a big desk in here, which there isn't. There's this, and then just the vanity thing. So what I was expecting, maybe by here would have been a nice little table that you get on railways when you have a sleeper car on the railway. You know, it's a table that comes out quite a bit here. We could have sat each side of it and would have had a table, but unfortunately not. So we're using a towel as a tablecloth over there on that berth by there. Matthew does have the stool to sit on, and I'm just going to be sitting across the way here. Okay, they do have Wi-Fi on board. If you're on Commodore class, you get it complimentary, but for everybody else, they need to pay for it. So here is, I've just gone onto the DFDS guest Wi-Fi, and this is the price, what it costs. So you can have 3 hours on one device for €9. For the whole of the return cruise going there and coming back, so 44 hours on one device, it's
26 euros. 24 hours is 17 euros. And if you just want to surf small, as they call it, for 1 hour on one device, it's 5 euros. Or if you want to stream, so I guess there'd be unlimited kind of streaming downloads on that, for 24 hours on one device is 22 euros. So they do have Wi-Fi on board. You just need to pay for it if you're not in Commodore class.
So we finished our little picnic quite a while ago. It's now 10 to 8 at night. So we decided to come back and venture out of our room to keep walking around the ship a little bit more. We're going to still see if we can try and find how to get to the very bow of the ship outside. So that's what we're going to do now. We might also have a look around the nightclub as well, the bar area, see what's going on there. So we've come back out on deck. We're actually at the stern of the ship where we actually departed Newcastle. It's actually started to rain a bit as well, so I haven't got my waterproof on. Matthew and Holly have got their waterproofs on. They've put their hoods on because they're sensible ones. I'm not. Let's go up to the very top, shall we? We've looked around as well. Oh, they've actually closed upstairs now, so that's where we were earlier, where the sky bar was. That's crew area only now. So shall we just walk along towards the front, then turn back and go back in, I guess? Because there's not much to do. It's dark, it's raining, you can't see anything because it's just the sea out there. And we don't want to get ourselves too wet, do we? So let's just walk along the deck a little bit. We did walk through the nightclub to actually come outside as well, but there wasn't really much going on, just maybe a couple of kids dancing on the dance floor. But I think, if I'm honest, I think it's going to be an early night tonight, isn't there? There's not much to do. Is it a bit windy, Holly? You cold? No, it looks like they've closed off this area as well. So we did walk along here earlier to get to as close to the front as we possibly could. Tell you what, let's have a little look overboard. And then I think we're going to go back inside. Yeah, we can't really see the wake of the boat down there. It's actually quite windy when you go right up to the side. But I think, shall we go back inside, you two? Yeah. So if you're wondering where all the life jackets are stored on board, they're underneath these benches here. So they're quite clearly signed with the life jacket. I think they're almost on every outdoor floor. Oh, here we go. Go in. I think we just push the button. After you two. So we've just come into the nightclub, which is called Columbus Bar. I'm not sure if we're going to get ourselves a drink or not. Obviously soft drinks for Matthew and Ollie. But we're just going to sit in here for a little while, soak up the atmosphere before heading back to the room, I guess. But yeah, I think, like I said earlier, I think it's going to be an early night tonight. So it does look like they've got some live music on as well tonight in the bar. Where we come back to, Holly?
A shop.
The shop, yeah. Thought we'd have one last look around the shop, didn't we? Before heading back to the room. Yep. Do you want to buy some new clothes? No. No, I don't think it would suit you either, would they?
It would suit you.
So we're back in the room. I think we're going to settle in for the night now. So I'm going to bring down the bunks for Matthew and Holly because both of them want to sleep on the top bunk, which means I'm relegated to the bottom bunk. So it's pretty simple by the look of it. Everything's already set out okay. You've got the pillow, you've got the duvet up here, and you've got a spare towel each. So I'll just get out the duvet. Is this your side, Holly? Oh, it's Matthew's. Okay, so this one's Holly's bed. That's sorted already. And now this one will be Matthew's bed. And again, same situation here. Is we've got a duvet, pillow, and I just sort the duvet out for Matthew here. And that's it. Looks like we haven't put the Do feel very good inside the duvet cover on this one, but I'll sort that out in a minute. There we go. All sorted, ready for tonight. So I think we will see you in the morning. So good night. See you in the morning. Good morning, everyone. It's 6:45. We're going to head and get our breakfast now. Then we're going to come back to the room, maybe have a look outside, see what it's like. But I'll tell you about our night's sleep when we're back in the room shortly. Oh, it is a lot rougher today than it was last night. Swaying from side to side. Oh. The Explorer's kitchen doesn't open till 7, so we've just got a couple of minutes to go before those doors open and we go in for our breakfast. Should be one of the first ones there. So I've got a selection of a continental, cheese, ham and some bread, and just a small amount of hot food. Holly's not feeling very good, so she's just got some cucumber and some water. And Matthew's got some hot food as well. And if you come when it first opens, the place is virtually empty. I'd imagine later on it'll get full in here. So I'll be completely honest with you, me and Holly, I'm feeling very good at the moment. We've taken our travel sickness pills. Matthew's fine. So we've just finished our breakfast and we've come out onto the deck for some fresh air. It is really rocking at the moment, the boat is. It's not very stable and it's making a stomach do somersaults inside us. So it's a bit cloudy and even a bit of rain, so I don't think we're going to see a sunrise this morning. It is better by here than being inside with this fresh air, do you think? Sure. You gotta put your hoodie back on. We came back to the room for a couple of hours and actually fell asleep again. With the roughness of the sea, it was better to just lie down, especially for me and Holly. Anyway, we're about 30 minutes and we're going to be arriving in port. So we're going to go outside now, film coming into port. So we're going into the Amsterdam Harbour. And then it said to wait further instructions how we're going to disembark the boat onto our transfers. Okay, just a bit of advice. If you're waiting downstairs in the stairwell, sure you go to the left-hand side. So even though we're waiting for about 35 minutes right by the entrance to leave the boat, because we were on the right-hand side, we needed to wait for all the left-hand side people to part the ship. With these things, you need to be as quick as possible departing the boat. Otherwise, your transfers, which is what we've got, will actually take up to an hour. So I'm hoping we still might be able to get on one of the first buses going into Amsterdam, but I'm not sure now. Originally, if they let us know by the order we actually started to wait, we would have got probably on the very first transfer bus. Now we're probably going to be about 7 or 8 buses after that first one. So we'll keep our fingers crossed we can get on an early bus into Amsterdam. Otherwise, it's going to delay us doing what we need to do in Amsterdam. So we've made it onto one of the transfer buses. Luckily, that didn't take too long. So we've just come through passport control where they checked our passports, obviously. And because we're no longer EU citizens, because we're British, they stamped our passports as well. Not sure how long it's going to be. So we're on the back seat. So all 3 of us are sitting together. I think it should be about a 40-minute drive from Amsterdam Harbour here into the centre. I think so. 35, 40 minutes. From Amsterdam Harbour, where we are here, into Amsterdam City. I believe they drop us off near the
Amsterdam Central Station, which, if you're a regular viewer of our video, you'll know that we came to Amsterdam a couple of years ago and we stayed by the Amsterdam Central Station. We did quite a lot when we were here then as well. So I'll link that previous video when we were in Amsterdam down in the description below. So we've departed the port. It's exactly 12 minutes past 10 local time. So we'll see how long this bus journey takes to get us into the central of Amsterdam, shall we? Ollie. And there's Matthew. So we're right at the very back seat of the bus. We've made it. We're now in the centre of Amsterdam. It's 10:55. So how long was it to get here?
42 minutes.
42 minutes, which I expected to be between 40 to 50 minutes. So I think we've made good time. We're now going to head that way. So that's Amsterdam Central Station, just for reference. We're going to walk over there, then walk into the centre of Amsterdam. It's the other side of there. So let's head off, shall we? So just for reference, that's where the bus gets dropped off there. You've got the water ahead of us there, and you've got Central Station right by there. So we're going to head towards Central Station now, turn left, and that's where we'll be in the centre of Amsterdam. So we're now right in front of Amsterdam Central Station, which is this old facade building here. What we're going to do is walk down that direction, and that's going to be the main central street we're going to walk down. In fact, I think that's probably the main street in the centre of Amsterdam. So we do have some small plans for today. We've already pre-purchased tickets to the Rijksmusem, and I pre-purchased those with Get Your Guide. I'll leave a link in the description below about that, and I'll talk a bit more about the Rijksmusem when we get closer. We've also got tickets to the Palace as well. Again, purchased through Get Your Guide. But like I said, what we're going to do now is we're just going to walk down the centre, down the central street opposite the central station here in Amsterdam. Holly's a little bit hungry because both me and Holly didn't really have much food to eat this morning in breakfast because we were both feeling a bit queasy and a bit seasick. But Holly is a little bit hungry now, so we're going to find somewhere to eat. Like, I've been down that street a few times, so I know there's like a supermarket on there. We can maybe just get some snacks from the supermarket. Or alternatively, Amsterdam's pretty famous for its vending machines as well. Not as famous as Japan, but there's still a number of vending machines around Amsterdam where you can get cheeseburgers and fries and things like that are a vending machine. So we'll see what we're going to do. Yeah, Holly? Yeah.
Is that where we got our pancakes?
No, we got our pancakes in a different restaurant last time. So our last time that we stayed in Amsterdam, we stayed at that hotel, the Hotel Van Gelder. It's in a great location because we're literally on this central street and Central Station's just up by there. But if I'm honest, I wouldn't really recommend the hotel. It's very basic, but it served our purpose when we were just here for a few nights. And we want to be really central. And what's the first thing you should do when you're in Amsterdam? Go into a cheese shop and help yourself to some free samples of some cheese. Thank you, Vel. Thank you. Okay. So this is going to be our early lunch. Amsterdam is famous for its fries or frites. So we've got a cone here with some ketchup, and this came to €6.30. Whoa, look at all that sauce. So traditionally, the Dutch have mayonnaise on their fries, but we've decided to go with ketchup. Although it's just all over the top, so it's really difficult to get to the chips below. So that's a 24-month-old Gouda, I guess. And you want a strawberry sundae? I'm going to have a McFlurry with stroopwafel, and that's very Dutch, very expensive for the ice creams and McFlurries here. Okay, let's view our order. Not today. Okay. And complete order. So we've just come into McDonald's. We've got McFlurries and sundaes, and I went for a stroopwafel McFlurry, which obviously we don't get back home, so I'd be interested to try that. Obviously, stroopwafel is a very traditional Dutch pancake, or waffle even. And the total of this is quite pricey, if I'm honest, probably because we're on the main street in Amsterdam. But for one McFlurry, 2 sundaes, it came to €10 and 65 cents. So that's about £8 something. Wow. So we've had our McFlurries and our sundaes. We're now going to head over to the Rijksmuseum, and on our way there, we're going to walk past the palace, which is right behind us. We're going to come back here later because we've actually got tickets to have a tour inside there, which will be quite interesting. I've never been in there before, so it'd be good to see what's actually in there. And again, purchased via Get Your Guide. I know I keep mentioning Get Your Guide all the time, but literally wherever we go, I normally use Get Your Guide to buy our tickets. And it was such a good price. For the 3 of us, it was just around £10. So from the palace, the Rijksmuseum is about a 20-minute walk, almost in a straight direction. So we keep walking south. We'll get there eventually. The famous rubber duck store. Yeah, they do only sell rubber ducks. Oh. So if you don't want a rubber duck, there's no point going in there. And I think that building you can see off in the distance with a high kind of roof, I think that's the Rijksmuseum. We have made it to the Rijksmuseum. Last time we were in Amsterdam, we tried to get in here, but unfortunately, because we didn't pre-book our tickets, we weren't allowed in and we couldn't buy them on the day. So this time we've come prepared. We pre-booked our tickets. And like I mentioned earlier, we pre-booked all our tickets for this trip with Get Your Guide. Just make sure we're nice and clear, walking across the road. So yes, we've booked our tickets with Get Your Guide. I'll leave a link in the description below where you can click on it and get the tickets, exactly the same tickets that I've done for this now. Or you can also scan the QR code on the screen somewhere around here, and I'll take you directly to the Get Your Guide website where you can actually get tickets for the Rijksmuseum. Total cost to come here, I think, was about £20. That's just an adult ticket. Both Matthew and Holly were free of charge, so children are free to get in. You just need to pay per adult. And we're right in front of there now. So when you do purchase with Get Your Guide, everything's in their app. So all I do is click on a button and I just have a QR code and we can go straight in and avoid the lines. Okay, if you're bringing a rucksack, you just need to wear it on your front. So if you don't want to do that, I think there are some lockers here, but just to save time, I just put it on my front. So how old is that horn, Holly?
Thousands.
1,000 years old, wow. So we've found ourselves a map. We're just by here. So far, all we've done is walk around this area here. What we're going to decide to do is go right to the very top floor, so floor 3, up here. Walk around that, then make our way down, 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 until we come back here, look around, and then leave. So let's go to floor 3. Yeah, so we're on the top floor now. This is more contemporary paintings up here from the 19th century onwards. So we're heading back down to the second floor now. The artists on the second floor include Rembrandt, Vermeer, and a few others. I think it's from the 17th and 18th century. So it's basically, each floor is for a certain era. So it's the most recent is the top floor and the most ancient is the bottom floor. And this looks like the most popular floor as well. This is a self-portrait of Rembrandt. Heading down to the first floor now, and after that we'll go back to the ground floor and then leave the museum. Well, that was our visit to the Rijksmuseum. It was a bit shorter than we would have ideally liked, basically because we were on quite a tight schedule today. But we did see some of the main masterpieces from people like Rembrandt, etc. What we're going to do now is almost retrace the steps that we came here and go to the Amsterdam Cheese Museum.
When Peter Reds just floats in through the salted water.
I think that's the cheese museum done.
Yeah.
Shall we go? I think that's it.
So
And that was it. That was the cheese museum. It was basically just a shop with a basement which had a little bit of information about how they make cheese. Lots of free samples though, which is always a good thing. Now let's go into the Tulip Museum. So we went into the tulip shop, but we didn't actually go into the Tulip Museum itself. The cost to go into it was €5 for an adult and €3 for a student, or a family ticket was €10.
But if it's anything like the Cheese Museum, it wouldn't be worth paying any money to it. It's in the same building, pretty much right next door to the Cheese Museum. So I think we're going to forget about that. What we're going to do now is head over to the Palace on Dam Square, and we have tickets to go for a tour. We've made it to the Palace. It's just behind us over there. Like I said earlier, we purchased these tickets via Get Your Guide. Link in the description down below, and I'll also put a QR code where you can go directly to their website and book these tickets yourself if you're interested. Like I said, children are free and just an adult has to pay, so I paid roughly about £10 for today's ticket. Make sure you book in advance as well to guarantee that you actually get in. See you in there. One thing you need to be made aware of as well when you do come into the Palace that all bags and jackets need to be given in at the cloakroom. So that was it. It was only literally about a 20-minute look around the Palace today, just because we're on such a short schedule, a tight schedule I should say. We couldn't really explore everything. There was also the option to have a free audio guide. We decided not to take them up on that offer just because if we listened to audio guide, we probably would have spent 10 minutes in every room, which we really don't have the time to do. So what the plan is now is we're going to go and look for something to eat before we head back to the ship. So we've just come to an Italian restaurant. I know it's not very traditionally Dutch, but Holly fancies some pasta, so Holly's going to have spaghetti bolognese, and me and Matthew are just going to split a salami pizza together. So there's Holly's spaghetti bolognese, and here's Matthew and my salami pizza to share. We've just finished our dinner in that Italian restaurant. Tasted really nice, actually. It's quite surprising. So like I said, Holly had spaghetti bolognese. Me and Matthew shared a salami pizza together. We also had a jug of water, so we didn't need to pay for that. So total price came to €37.50, which we are in the centre of Amsterdam, literally in the centre. Here's Dam Square with the Palace behind me. So you're going to pay higher prices for food in this area, but I don't mind paying that kind of money for food that tastes really nice. So what we're going to do now is 3:10. The first bus that goes back to the ferry terminal departs at 3:30, so that's in 20 minutes time. We're going to aim to try and get on that, but it is about a 19-minute walk from where we are now, so the chance to get it is probably pretty slim. Then the second and final bus to get to the ferry terminal is at 4 o'clock. So we'll definitely catch the 4 o'clock one. I just wanted to make sure we got the earlier one, just in case the second bus is full and we can't get back to the ferry terminal and we have to get a taxi. Because I've seen videos of people missing that bus, then having to get a taxi back to the Amsterdam ferry terminal. And that costs roughly about €100. And I know I did say at some point, I'll let you know how much we paid for this trip with our special promo offer that was on. I'll do that a bit later on. But if you haven't already, leave a comment below with how much you think this trip has cost. So that was 2 nights on a ferry. It was breakfast this morning and the transfers in and out of Amsterdam. Right, we're on a mission now. We've decided we're going to try and make the 3:30 bus. So we've stepped up a gear and we're walking really, really quickly. But if we don't catch it, like I said, it's not a big deal. The next one is at 4 and we'll be ahead of the line for the next bus, so we will be getting on it. I know we haven't really shown you much to do in Amsterdam because we are here for such a short period of time. Today's video is all about the journey more than anything, trying the DFDS Mini Cruise to Amsterdam, because you can easily fly into Schiphol and spend as many days as you like in Amsterdam usually, which in fact is what we do. when we normally come to Amsterdam, we have a few days here. And if you want to see what you can do in just one day, when you've got the entire day, check out my previous video at the Epic European Adventure, where we spent a whole day here in Amsterdam. We did the more stereotypical tourist things, such as the Anne Frank's house, did a walking tour. We went on all the canals. So I'll leave a link to that video down in the description. And if you're really interested in transport related videos, to get back home from Amsterdam last time, we went overland via train and the Eurostar. We actually went through 5 countries on that last video in one day just to get home. And if you are going to be coming this way and you fancy a little ride on a boat, these ferries across the way here behind me that go kind of over the water back in 2, they're actually free of charge. So you can just hop on one and go for a little ride. And it's now 25 minutes past 3. We've made it with 5 minutes to spare. Hopefully there's space on the bus so we can make it onto this first bus going back to the port. So we made it on the bus with just a couple of minutes spare. Like I said, you could have done a 4 o'clock one as well, but I just don't like leaving it to the last minute, just in case, what if that bus was full and we weren't able to get on it to go back to the terminal. Matthew and Holly are behind me there. And it'd be, I guess, another 40-45 minutes journey back to the port. And we're off.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. I'm going to bring you back to the ship, normally some 35-45 minutes, a little bit depending on traffic flows. Please, for your safety, wear all fasten your seatbelts. Thank you.
It is 3:33. It looked like a large group did try to get on the bus, but because there's only maybe about 3 seats empty, including, luckily, the one next to me, they're going to now have to wait until the 4 o'clock bus. So, bit of a tip then, turn up a little bit early if you want to get the 3:30 bus from Amsterdam back to the ferry terminal. And so it looks like we're going to be parking in the rain.
We're not far away from the ship to bring you back to Newcastle. Please, when you leave the bus, take all your personal belongings with you. Otherwise, it's going to be a lonely cold swing to get you started back. I wish you a very safe trip back to Newcastle and maybe till the next time. So, bye-bye.
So we've just been through security and passport control, scanned our boarding cards. Now we're heading on board the ship. So we're set to depart at 5 o'clock. It gives us about 40 minutes on board before we leave. So we're going to head back to the room, dump the bag there, and then come back out onto deck to have a look as we depart. So we've just come onto the deck just to see us push off from Amsterdam and head out to sea. So that's where the captain probably sits and steers the boat. Up there. Or pilots the boat, I should say. So we've come to the very top deck, which is normally the sky bar in the summer, but at the moment it's just totally empty. Just all the chairs have been put into the far corner underneath a shelter. So we've just come here to see us push off from Amsterdam ferry terminal, the port or the harbour, whatever you want to call it here. Got a tugboat keeping us in place down there at the moment. You see that? We're due to be pushing off at around 5 o'clock, which is just in 5 minutes' time. One thing I wish you could do on this ship, though, is actually go onto the bow, the front of the ship, just to see the view from out there, but there's absolutely no way to get there. The best you're going to do is go to the observation deck area, but then you're just looking out of the windows. And last night, we couldn't really do that because it was just so dark. We might try that once we start leaving today now, departing the ferry terminal here. I think we will try to go to the observation area just to have a look out at the front to see what it's like. But yeah, you can probably make out it is raining a little bit, not too much at the moment, but it's very misty. Like, look at that, you can't really see very far. I've got my fingers crossed that it's not going to be a choppy crossing back to the UK. Because you saw this morning, it was pretty choppy back then, and both me and Holly felt a little bit ill this morning, which is why we didn't have a proper breakfast. Matthew was fine, just me and Holly couldn't do it, even though we have taken some travel sickness pills just in case. But we'll see. I think it's going to be another case of going to bed earlier as well. Because we saw everything that was on the boat last night on our journey here to Amsterdam. And if you're interested and you are travelling on this boat during summer months when the Sky Bar will be open, this is the price list for drinks. So the engines have started. You can see the nice environmentally friendly smoke coming out of that big chimney stack there. I'm going to assume that this boat is diesel powered. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm going to assume it's diesel powered. It's 5:25 and now we're departing the ferry terminal. The tugboat down there is pulling us out into the correct position. I don't know if you can see that. So shortly we'll be heading over to the sea. Fingers crossed, it is really windy. The weather's not the best, but I'm really hoping, and I hope you're hoping as well, it's going to be a nice leisurely journey across the ocean, well, across the sea, don't you, Holly? Yeah, but I got a feeling with this wind it's going to be pretty rough, unfortunately. So it looks like we're turning around and we're going to go past the Newcastle Steelworks, which is right behind me by here. Going. Saying goodbye to the tug. Okay, I thought we would just put the speedo on my phone to see how fast we're actually going. So we're currently going 6 miles an hour, and I have no clue what that is in knots. Right, do you want to say bye-bye to Amsterdam, Holly?
Bye.
Bye, the Netherlands.
Bye-bye.
So just to the left of the steelworks, by here, is a place called Wick and Zee. It's a really nice beach resort, actually. I've stayed there before now, and they've got shacks on the beach, really nice restaurants, and I would recommend it. Granted, you got the steelworks there in the background, but the beach here, the further down there you go to kind of the main area, Wick and Zee, it's actually really nice. So if you're coming and you're stopping in this area and you don't want to stop in Amsterdam itself, I highly recommend Wick and Zee down there. You got some really nice restaurants, a few nice hotels. Yeah. But it looks like we are now departing the Amsterdam ferry terminal. Just by there is the end of the coastal wall, and we'll be heading out to sea very, very shortly.
Back with your announcement. Back with your announcement for Mr. Samuel Bilan Mongregusot. I repeat, for Samuel Bilan Mongregusot. Boost contract to service center located on deck 7. Thank you.
And that's it, the last point of land over by there with that little light on. So we're now leaving the Amsterdam Ferry Harbour, which is over there, about to go out into the open sea. So I think now we're in the sea, the main part of the sea I should say, we're going to go back inside because there's nothing to see while we're at sea, especially when it's misty, it's foggy, it's raining, and it's really cold. So we've come into the bar for a sit down for a few minutes. A lot less windy in here than it was outside. If you're interested in the costs of drinks here in the Columbus Club Bar,
Here we go. Here's the menu. You can pause that if you want to have a better look. But it looks like their best sellers are frozen strawberry daiquiri, Hugo, pina coladas, Mai Tais, Long Island iced tea, and they vary from €8.90 up to $16.90 for a Long Island iced tea. They also do some snacks, so they got some crisps, nuts, nachos, and a Dutch snack plate. So we're back on floor number 2. And you can see here watertight doors. So if the boat was about to sink and taking on water, these doors would close and we'd be stuck to the other side of them. So there's one there and one on the other side of our room there. So I hope that doesn't happen. Yeah, so I'm going to imagine these watertight doors seal automatically in the case of an emergency. Or if we're stuck this side of them, don't know what we'd do. So we've come back to the room. I think we're going to settle in for the night now. We've had another quick walk around the ship, but there's no point in filming that and doing another tour because you saw it all basically at the beginning of this video when we did the whole tour last night. We've still got lots of items in our little picnic here. So we've got very healthy snacks. So we've got crisps, sweets, cakes, also plenty of water, some cherry coke, more chocolate. So that's going to be our unhealthy picnic for tonight. So I think we'll see you guys tomorrow morning when we finally arrive back in Newcastle. So until then, good night. Good morning, everyone. It's 9:20 in the morning. The boat's due to arrive in Newcastle at 10:15. So we're just going to go out on deck and take a look around and see if we can see land. So we've come out on deck. It's really sunny today as well, although it is a little bit windy. We can see the British coastline over to our left-hand side there. I think the boat does hug the coastline a little bit all the way to Newcastle whilst going in through the sea. What we're going to do now is head back up to the very top deck to get a great bird's eye view of the surrounding area. Looks like we're about to head into Tyne mouth, so we're going to go in between those two mini lighthouses there. So we've just made it through Tyne mouth. We've just passed the 2 lighthouses there on the harbour walls. Behind me over there is the Collingwood Memorial, where we first started this video off 2 days ago. We should just be arriving at the DFDS Ferry terminal probably in about 15 minutes from this point. So we're going to enjoy our last few minutes of the views here on deck, head back to our room, collect our bags, and then depart the ship. And there's the Collingwood Memorial right by there. So I know I said earlier I'd tell you how much this actually cost us with our special promo deal from Holiday Pirates. If you are looking for promo deals, you can normally find them on Groupon, and they range from about £50 each onwards. But we got an absolute bargain, if I'm completely honest. So the total we paid for this trip, so 2 nights on board in our own private room, breakfast, and the transfers in and out of Amsterdam came to just £71.10.
So that, to me, was an absolute bargain. So if you guessed roughly right in the comments below, well done for guessing the correct answer. But yeah, I really think this is worth it. For £71.10 for the three of us to go to Amsterdam on a 2-night cruise, really good value for money. If you just wanted to go to Amsterdam, I would suggest probably flying rather than doing this, because as you saw, we literally only had a few hours in Amsterdam and we couldn't do even everything that we wanted to do. So if it's your first time in Amsterdam and you want to explore, I would highly recommend just getting a low-cost flight from one of the UK airports out there, Ryanair, EasyJet, etc. We've done that in the past, fly straight into Schiphol Airport, then straight into the centre of the city. But if you fancy the experience of coming on board a ferry, they call it a mini cruise, if I'm honest, it's just a ferry, an overnight ferry each way. And we really enjoyed it, apart from feeling seasick yesterday morning when it was really, really rough. It's been an enjoyable little cruise. Today, and I should say this morning, it was nothing like it was yesterday. Well, you can see with the weather, it's really sunny now, so the water was nice and calm this morning. We woke up, we had a bit of a lie-in, and now we're about to head to the ferry terminal and depart the ship. So, like I said, once we get into the ferry terminal, we're going to go back down to our room, we're going to collect our bags and then leave. We've just arrived at the port of Tyne, so that's our ferry terminal building right behind us here. I imagine they're going to use the bow thrusters to actually just push us in directly to the port there. Over by there is where the cars are going to roll in and out of. So we're literally, in a couple of minutes, we'll be departing the ship. Right, we're going to head back down to our room, pick up our luggage, and then disembark the boat. You ready to go home, Holly? So we picked up our luggage. You can hear they're just announcing that we're about to depart the ship. So we're going to head back upstairs now and leave and head back to our car. Like, there's no rush getting off this boat today like it was yesterday morning where we had to go and get a transfer into Amsterdam. All we've got to do is go through immigration and then get back to our car. So that's taken about 30 minutes to depart the boat. They were just doing small batches because apparently passport control is really busy and there were quite a lot of delays there, and you couldn't wait on the air bridge. So we've just paid for the car park. That's £24. It's basically £12 per day. So let's head to the car and leave. So in total, that took us about an hour from the time that the boat actually docked to actually coming out into the car park here. As I kind of started talking about when we were in the ferry terminal, they were just doing people in batches because we couldn't wait in the air bridge due to health and safety reasons. So I think they were probably doing batches of maybe 50 people at a time, which meant that it took quite a lot of time to actually leave and depart the boat. Anyway, we're in the car park now, and I think we're going to end this video here. As we started this video at the Collingwood Memorial, I thought it'd only be fitting if we finished it at the Angel of the North. So I think we're going to end this video here. If you made it to the end, thank you so much for watching. It's really appreciated. If you're new here, my name is Mark, And along with my daughter Holly, son Matthew, we make travel and theme park videos from around the world. Now here's Holly with her special message.
If you like this video, please remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell button. Bye!
Bye!